Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I will be reviewing the Brush Marker Pro markers from Karin together with the Deco Brush markers, also by Karin. Now those two packages were kindly sent to me by an art shop called Busch Vanderworp. They are situated in Zwolle, that's a city in the Netherlands, and this beautiful art shop also has a YouTube channel. It's definitely worth a try to check it out. And so they were so kind to send me a skin tone set of the Brush Marker Pros and then a set of the 10 metallic Deco Brush markers. So thank you very much to all the people that wanted to support the channel to give me the chance to review these markers. So I will start with those. And to start off, these markers should be stored with their in a vertical way, I should call it. So don't store them lying down because that's not good for the ink that's inside. It's recommended to keep them in the box or to put them somewhere that their tip is pointing towards the ceiling, I should call it. So they come in a sturdy box, and I'm going to keep them in this box because I think it's very handy. And you open it on the side here, and then you can grab the pen that you like. So I'm going to grab one to start off with. So it's a very sturdy marker. It's quite a thick one, and it lies very well in the hand. So here you have the company name, or the brand name I should call it. Then what you're holding in your hand, of course, a Brush Marker Pro. Here on this side, there's a bit of info what you can do with those markers. So it's very well known for hand lettering, so calligraphy, graphic design and illustration. And of course, for me, they will be used for illustration in my colorings. I don't have any knowledge of hand lettering. I know it's very beautiful, but I can't do it myself. I've never had some classes or never went to a class or an online course. And then here on the lid, I'm sorry, the number, the color number and the color name is mentioned. So this is yes, this is a better focus. So it's rosewood, and then here you can see on a better way what they are good for. And it's so nice to see this tube so that you can check how many ink that you have left. Now, the only thing I've done so far with those markers is swatch them out. And why am I saying this? It's because I had to search for a decent book with watercolor paper, because I had seen some reviews online before I've received them, and the people that were using them always worked on watercolor paper, because if you don't work on real watercolor paper, you put down color and you can't move it around anymore. And that's just a nice thing with these markers. If you use them on watercolor paper, you can move them around with a water brush. And yeah, that's just great. It's playing around with ink with your water brushes, so they can, it's a liquid ink, in fact, in a marker design. So they're water soluble and non-toxic, so that's also very important. And the most exciting thing with these markers is that you can put tips of two different colors together attached to each other for a few seconds, and then you have a gradation from, like for example, if I put one of the darker browns against a lighter color, you start with dark brown and then it's fading out. It's really beautiful. So I will film a video where I will be using those in a coloring. In a book with watercolor paper, I really had to look because all of my books almost have thin paper, and the ones that I thought that had paper usable for these didn't. The Karolina Kubikowska books, they sucked up this ink very quickly, so it couldn't be moved around anymore. Plus, if you're not careful, they bleed through. So put a protective page underneath your colorings and don't use it if you're not sure on a double-sided book, but try to choose a book with decent paper and single-sided paper. Maybe it's not necessary on watercolor paper. I'm not sure. I think it will depend on the thickness of the paper, but yeah. The pages that I tested out, they bled through, and but that was because I was using the wrong type of paper. So anyway, we are having a look at the swatches. So this is the skin set. Yes, and it's refocused. So I'm holding the rosewood. I'm going to put that lid off. And here's how the marker looks like. So I've read that it's a Polish product, but that the tip, so the brush tip, is manufactured in Japan, so that the quality is exquisite. And I can't believe it, because I did try to do some hand lettering, so an amateuric way of hand lettering, and it really, you could have a fine line and a broad line. It was very nice to work with. So I'm holding this rosewood, and for the other skin tones, we have a skin 200, a 201, which is a bit darker, and then all different shades to create shadows, depth, other skin tones. So it will be very exciting to play around and to see which combos work well with each other. So for now, I still didn't have the chance to color a skin because I didn't find the right book, but in the meanwhile I have, so I will definitely try them out on that book, and I will try to put the video where I will be coloring after this one, so that you can see how they work. And yeah, I hope I won't mess it up, because I still have to learn these ones. But I was talking about mixing a dark color with a bright one, and I can show it here on the swatch book, because it is a bit of an aquarelle paper, but not a real one. You can see that the swatch didn't solve well enough, but it's doable to show you this little trick. So you have to hold the tips together, and then with the lightest one, so I'm going to color the rosewood mixed with sandstone, which is this one. So here we have the sandstone, and the further I go, the lighter it becomes. So you really have a nice gradation of the sandstone, and you end up with the rosewood. So it's very lovely to, if you have the right paper and you have, for example, a girl with long hair, it's so nice to be playful, and it's also working the other way around. I can show you that also. So here we have the sandstone, and here we have the rosewood, and that was even more special. in my opinion. So you have to hold it for a few seconds. The longer you hold, the more ink of the lighter one is transferred into the darker one, of course. So now I'm coloring with the rosewood, and it's slightly getting darker and darker and darker until we get the sandstone color. Isn't that fantastic? That's super nice. Look how beautiful. It's wow. Just, you can be so creative with this. And maybe this technique will work every time, but be aware that it will be more streaky on thin paper, that you will have bleed through. So I definitely want to try them out. I don't have bleed through because this paper is quite thick, although it's not an ideal watercolor paper. Far from it. The other one where I was testing those markers out is much better. So that was a short introduction on the Brush Marker Pros. I will leave a link down below for the YouTube channel of Van Busch and Vanderworp. Busch and Vanderworp, I'm sorry. I've butchered the name. And I will also leave some links which products that they're offering in the Karin range. So, and now we will have a look at the deco brush pens. These are metallic ones, and they have to be stored like this, horizontally. They are not water soluble, so they are even more perfect for hand lettering. Not because they are not water soluble, but because of the metallic impact the ink has. And what's very important with these ones is that you have to shake them before usage. So I will grab one of these, and I'm going to try and focus. It's also, it's mentioned here, store horizontally, it's very important. Cap after use, also very important, of course, so that you don't have a dried out marker. Suitable for most surfaces, so you can also use it besides paper on plastic, stonework, woodwork, I think. It's an all-round product, and it also has a flexible brush tip. So, and on the other hand, we have the name of the product, and that it's a metallic permanent marker, so it's permanent. And I'm holding the metallic green. And what's important with these markers, I don't know if you can hear it, but there's a little metal ball inside. And now that I was playing here, they are so fluid, and it's a beautiful metallic green color. And what's nice is that I have a bit of a natural shadow. I hope that you understand what I mean. On the borders of my letters, there's a bit of an extra darkness of the green. And the marker has done that itself. So like here, it's a bit darker. And here also, it's super nice. And you know me, I love my glitter. I love metallic touches on my colorings. So they will definitely get a lot of use. And I'm going to take a look at those swatches because of course I've swatched them out too. I really had to look for an empty spot in my swatch book. It's quite full already. and I didn't want to swatch them on a page with a lot of messing around, but I didn't have a lot of choice. You know what? I'm going to swatch them out live. I can't find them as soon as I want to. So I'm just going to put them down like this. That's even more nice to see how they are. And these brush tips are so nice to work with. Look how lovely color. I'm going to lift the swatch book up in a second, don't worry. You can have a look in close-up as soon as I'm done with the swatch. I have to take a sneak peek. Okay. One of my favorite metallic colors, copper. And then we have light green. And they're so fluid and yeah, they work like a dream. And this is them. They are quite muted, in my opinion, but that's, of course, metallic colors don't have to be very poppy. I really like them a lot. I also like the skin tones, of course. But that's another type of medium. And then we have the last one. Okay, now I'm going to lift those up and make sure that I don't bump the camera. So here you have them in a close-up. I really like, and you can see the little, I hope it's visible on camera, but you can see the little metallic parts that's in the, can you see it? In the greens, you can see it very well in the greens, also in the pink. Yeah, I hope it's visible that you can see the metallic parts. So these are the swatches of those beauties. So they will have a great, they will be great for jewelry, coloring in jewelry or marking a border on my colorings. I will definitely make very good use of them. And I want to thank Busch Vanderworp very much again to send me these together with this beautiful set of skin tone colors. And in the video straight after this one, I will be coloring in a picture on watercolor paper that's suitable for both of these marker sets. I'm not sure, I did try out to make a gradation of colors like I could with the Brush Marker Pros, but I'm not sure that it's supposed to work in the same way. So I don't think I will be using it again. It did work out on my swatch, but I don't think they are supposed to mix like you do with the Brush Marker Pros. So I hope you've enjoyed this first part already, that it has given you a bit of an idea what these markers can do and how they look like. And I will see you back in part 2, where I will be coloring in a lovely lady with these markers and add some details with these beauties. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in a second. Okay, I have grabbed my book with the watercolor paper. It's my creative journal, the art journal by Jane Davenport. And I want to color in this lady. So it will be the first time for me using these markers. And I'm going to color them in and activate the ink with my water brush. So I'm going to grab my cloth to make the brush clean again. I'm going to activate the water a little bit. So, okay, it's very, exciting because I've never used those before. So it's really a dive, but I like diving into creativity. So, and I'm going to use Skin 200, and that's the lightest one. This one. And we will see how it goes. So off we go. I'm going to do a border here so that I can fade out towards the middle. Oh wow. So that she has more light. Look how they dissolve. Fantastic. If you're using a paper that's too thin, then the paper really sucks this ink up and you can't play around anymore. I also wanted to mention that these can also be laid down on a palette and that you can pick the colors up with your brush. So like an ink that you're picking up, instead of drawing immediately on the paper with them, you can pick the colors up from a palette. So that's also very nice, but I really wanted to play around with this brush tip because I heard a lot of good things about that one. And wow, it's so nice to work with. I'm really happy that I thought of this book to try these markers out, because I thought I had the decent paper in a Nicholas Filbert book and a Karolina Kubikowska book, but these papers sucked up that ink far too quickly, and now I can create a bit of shadow and highlight wherever I want. Wow, this is so nice. And I'm super surprised that even if it's the first time that I'm using them, and it feels natural. It really, they feel natural. It can be a bit more dark on the bottom, but now I will fade the color out towards her shoulder. Maybe it's a bit too light now. I'm going to add a small touch. And that's also a possibility. You can wet your page and dip the ink straight on it, and it will search its own way. But now it's a bit too dark, so I'm going to play around again. this is definitely a fun way to color in a different way with a different material. It's such a pity that I have so little books with appropriate paper. I do see a bit of bleeding inwards her dress, but most of the markers do so, and it's not very obvious, so I'm going to add a bit of extra color here too. Okay, here's my lady. She does have legs, but now I really want to show you how I will do her hair. And I'm going to take the Sienna color and what will I choose? The almond. Oops, sorry for my big arm. No, Sienna, I need Sienna. I grabbed sepia and that's quite dark. Henna, where's henna? Oh, that's a nice color too, so I can grab henna and then one of the paler colors, maybe blush. You know what, I'm going to use that rosewood again. So, and I want her roots to be dark. So, I have to put the darkest color on top. And I'm going to try it on a long piece of hair. I'm starting here, so her roots are quite dark. And slightly it's fading out towards the lightest color. And I'm going to do the rest of this hair with my water brush. I didn't fill up all these lines, so look at that gradation. Dark, whoops, more. Here I have a bit of a stain. Okay, going to do the same thing again. And now I'm not holding these points too long together, so we will see what effect this is giving me. It should become lighter more quick. There's a bit of gradation visible. So you can really be playful with these colors. Fantastic. And if you want to play around with the colors, it's definitely doable. Now I'm going to do the same for her dress. I'm just doing some small parts, but then you have quite of an impression how they perform. I'm going to use pale pink together with an almond color. That's a very pale one, a pale yellow. I'm going to show the swatches. So I'm going to use the almond and the pale pink for her dress. And I've used henna together with rosewood on her hair. So for the dress, I think I want to start with pink and fade out with yellow. So then I will have to feed the tip of this yellow one with ink from the pink one. Okay, and we are starting here and slightly it is becoming a salmon color, and now we're having the yellow. Wow, how lovely is that? And I'm just going to put my stains. I have a bit of stains, but I think that's the paper. No, not stains. It's a texture on the paper, a paper texture. Wow! And if you want, or if I want, I can add some extra pink on top and move it around a bit more, like so. So again, we're feeding this tip with the pink color. We're doing her dress. Like this. And slightly I'm creating that salmon pink again and the regular pink. As you can see, I have different shades, so I'm going to mix them together, and I've put on a bit of pink on her back, but I can fade that out so that it's not very visible anymore. And now I'm going to merge those colors together. Look at that. Isn't that wonderful? Wow. So a close-up and also a bit gradation of the hair. And that skin tone is just fantastic. I'm really impressed, really. What a nice medium to work with. And it feels so natural. I'm blown away that I can do this without have any experience. Really, guys, I only did the swatches. I haven't colored in anything with them. So, wow, it's just fantastic. I'm going to have lots of fun with these, I'm sure. I'm going to do the last bit of her dress. And then I will add some metallic details. I'm going to add a bit of that pink again for the last parts. And I'm going to see if I can paint out these colors to where I want them. I'm going to merge them back again with each other. So she really has a playful dress. And now I'm going just going to add a bit of this yellowish color and merged them all together. I want a bit of extra here and a bit of extra there. It's super easy to add extra colors, and if it's too yellow I can still change it, but I think I'm fairly happy with what I can accomplish. And I'm going to take a look at the back, and there's no bleed through because of the right quality paper. It's quite a thick paper. Unfortunately, there's no mentioning of the GSM of this paper, but it's definitely a watercolor paper. It's quite rough. You can't see the texture. I'm going to put the caps back on these markers and put them away as soon as possible in the right direction. But I'm going to add a bit of metallic here, and I'm going to use the copper because I think it will be nice with her hair. And of course it's a little detail, but since I'm using them on her back that is still a bit wet, they get their own life and they become a bit bigger than that was meant to be, but that's not a problem. I'm going to add some extra details here. I had to wait a bit longer before using the metallic ones, but oh well. And I can give her an earring maybe. Okay, I'm going to put this box aside. Wow, the metallic ink is still wet. I don't know if it's visible on camera, but yeah, it's a beautiful touch. So, okay, this was a tryout with the Karin Brush Marker Pro. I'm really impressed, really. I can't say anything negative about them. I think it's fantastic that they can be blended together, that they are playful, they feel natural, they have a good feeling when you're using them in your hand. They're not too small. They really have a nice size. That brush is really nice to work with. And I think I'm going to add a bit extra. I'm taking a guess here. I don't know if it will work. Still work? Yes, it still works. I thought, but my paper, or it is my water brush, I'm not sure. It's crumbling my paper a bit, but it's because of the amount of water, I think, and I don't think it has anything to do with the marker itself. It's more the paper and the motion of the brush, I think. Really lovely. Okay, I really hope you liked this video, that the markers have given you a good insight on what they can perform. Both of them, the Brush Marker Pros and the Deco Brush metallic ones, both by Karin. I will leave links in the description box below for the Busch Vanderworp webshop. a link to their YouTube channel, because you really have to take a look inside this shop. It's beautiful. It's a place in heaven for us colorists and everybody who is creative. Wow, it's it's big and it's yeah, nice to see. Thank you very much for watching. I'm very enthusiastic. Thank you very much, Busch Vanderworp, again, for giving me the opportunity to play with these markers, to make me very enthusiastic about them. And I hope I will see everyone soon for another video. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye.